Hey, have you been working on improving your foreign language skills lately?
Yeah, I've been trying to practice as much as I can. I've been reading and listening to texts in the language to try and improve my comprehension and vocabulary.
That's great. I've found that reading and listening to texts in a foreign language is a really effective way to improve my language skills.
Really? How so?
Well, for one thing, reading and listening to texts in a foreign language exposes you to a wide range of vocabulary and grammar structures that you might not encounter in everyday conversation. It helps to broaden your understanding of the language and build up your knowledge of its complexities.
That makes sense. It definitely seems like reading and listening to texts would be a good way to improve my understanding of the language.
Definitely. And another benefit of reading and listening to texts in a foreign language is that it helps to improve your comprehension skills. When you read or listen to a text, you have to pay attention to what's being said and try to understand the meaning of the words and sentences. This helps to build up your ability to understand spoken and written language, which is really important for communication in any language.
That's true. I've definitely noticed that my comprehension has improved since I started reading and listening to texts in the language.
And another benefit of reading and listening to texts in a foreign language is that it can help you to develop your pronunciation and accent. When you read aloud or listen to native speakers, you can pick up on the rhythms and sounds of the language, which can help you to improve your own pronunciation.
That's really helpful. I've been having a lot of trouble with my accent, so anything that can help me improve it is really valuable.
Definitely. And one more benefit of reading and listening to texts in a foreign language is that it can help to improve your overall language fluency. When you read and listen to texts on a regular basis, you become more familiar with the language and start to think in it more naturally. This can help you to speak and write more fluently and to communicate more effectively in the language.
That's really interesting. I never really thought about it that way before, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think reading and listening to texts in a foreign language is a really valuable way to improve your language skills. It exposes you to a wide range of vocabulary and grammar structures, helps to improve your comprehension skills, can help you to develop your pronunciation and accent, and can improve your overall language fluency.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm going to make sure to keep reading and listening to texts in the language to try and improve my skills even more.
That's a great idea. Practice is key when it comes to learning a foreign language, and reading and listening to texts is a really effective way to do it. Good luck with your language learning.
Thanks. I'm really motivated to keep working on my language skills. Do you have any other tips or tricks for improving my language skills through reading and listening to texts?
Well, one thing I like to do is to read texts that are slightly above my current level of comprehension. This helps me to stretch my abilities and learn new vocabulary and grammar structures that I might not have encountered before.
That's a good idea. It can be frustrating to struggle with understanding a text, but I think it's important to challenge yourself if you want to make progress.
Absolutely. And it's also helpful to vary the types of texts you read and listen to. For example, you could read a news article one day and a novel the next. This helps to keep things interesting and exposes you to different styles of writing and speaking.
That's a good point. I'll make sure to mix things up and try different types of texts.
Another tip is to take notes or make flashcards as you read or listen to texts. This can help you to remember new vocabulary and grammar structures and can also help you to review and reinforce what you've learned.
That's a great idea. I've been trying to make flashcards for new vocabulary, but I haven't really thought about taking notes as I read or listen.
And finally, it's always helpful to practice speaking and writing in the language as well. Reading and listening to texts can give you a lot of exposure to the language, but it's important to actually use it in conversation and in your own writing in order to really improve your skills.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've been trying to have more conversations in the language and write more in it as well.
That's great. It's important to have a well-rounded approach to language learning, and reading and listening to texts is just one part of it. But it can definitely be a very effective way to improve your language skills, so make sure to keep it up.
Thanks for the advice. I'll definitely keep working on my language skills through reading and listening to texts, and I'll make sure to incorporate other language practice as well.
No problem. I'm always happy to help out with language learning tips. Good luck with your studies.